Hey, what's going on, YouTube fam? This is Dr. Dwight here. So check this out. Today's video is going to be talking about how to recognize an unhealthy attachment style, something like codependency, and kind of how to handle that situation should you find yourself in it. So the main thing I'm going to talk about today is you know how when you are getting to know someone and you're probably just in that dating phase and excuse me, before I go on, make sure you like the video if you feel like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section as well. So getting right on back into it. So you know how when you're on a date with someone, right? And you're just talking and you're trying to get to know this person, but you're really not trying to get to know this person on an extremely deep level because you probably just met a week or two ago. And this is probably your first date. So of course you just want to know surface-based questions. Hi, how are you doing? What are some of the things that you like to do? Kind of like, you probably would have asked this person if they're married before you went on a date with this person. But if not, there's probably something you would ask them on your first date. Or you may just try to make little small talk just to try to get to know them more on a surface-based level, right? Nothing too deep or too serious. Now, let's just say you're on a date with this person and it's your second date. And this person decides to tell you that when they were a young child, they were abused by their father or they were abused by their parents. And they were neglected. They were given up for adoption. God forbid they probably were, they had experienced SA as a child. And their last couple of marriages or relationship failed because they were a little bit abusive because they hadn't dealt with their childhood traumas, and the people that they were talking to were just complete narcissists and they just didn't really understand anything. They could never get a word in edgewise, and so they just continue to go on and on and on about all the issues that they got going on. And mind you, this is maybe your second date. And so they turn around and you're there listening because you're probably taking aback. At that time, you're probably drinking a little something. So this is probably you like, oh, okay. You're just kind of like, you don't really know how to respond. And of course, you're going to be your natural disposition will probably be something of the nature of, oh, I'm so sorry you had to go through that, depending on your personality type, right? So they proceed to look at you and say, so tell me about you. What's your story? Do you have any issues or any traumatic stories like that? And you're probably going to say, no, I don't. And they're like, really? Come on now. Everybody has some. I just told you about my life story. And you may say, I have them, but I don't really feel comfortable sharing that with you right now because we're just trying to get to know each other. And they flip out. What do you think we're doing? What do you think this is? What do you think? I don't waste my time. I know what I want. I know what I want. I move quickly because I don't do this with everybody. I can move fast because I know exactly what I want to do. And if you're not trying to be here for the long haul, then we don't need to be talking. I can't stand people like you. You get on my nerves. You see, you one of them type of people. How y'all want to try to get to know somebody, but then you don't when they try to ask you a question, you don't want you want to highlight something. I don't think that they should be talking about that right now. But when is the right time then? And so you're just sitting there like, because you're taken aback because at the beginning you're like, man, this probably seems like a cool person, but then they flipped on you. And now you're like, what do I do? And for those of you who have never experienced that before, you're probably going to think, oh, okay, well, you know what? Well, maybe I could share a little bit with them. And then you proceed to share a little bit with them, and then they try to get a little bit more. And they try to get a little bit more, and they try to get a little bit more before you are eventually left vulnerable and exposed. And they know all of your secrets, all of your dirty laundry, and everything about you. And you just pretty much gave this person the ammo that they needed to emotionally manipulate you, emotionally abuse you, and play all types of mental games on you. And you did that because you saw someone hurting, right? In the midst of what was going on, it seemed like it was the logical thing to do, right? This person did tell you some things about them, and you're like, okay, well, if they shared those things with me, then clearly it's okay for me to share some things with them too, because they're not going to do anything to me, right? Who would do that? And that's the whole illusion of it all, right? It's to get you to be suggestible. It's to get you to this point of questioning yourself, right? And questioning your own reality, like a form of gaslighting, manipulation, right? And some people may say narcissistic and all the different types of things, but I don't like to call people narcissists because I'm not, that haven't clinically diagnosed, I'm not, I don't know. So I'm not going to call someone a narcissist because I'm not their doctor. I don't, but they may say, narcissistic tendencies or behavior patterns. But the thing is that not everybody is a narcissist. Some people just have traumatic issues, and that's the way that they process things, right? They may be a gaslighter, emotionally manipulated, because that's probably what they grew up around. Their parents probably emotionally manipulated them. Now, by no means am I saying this is your responsibility, because it's not. But the thing is that, getting back on track. So you're there and you're thinking it's the right thing to do, right? Because now you're vulnerable. You're in this suggestible state of mind, because you're like, man, this person is right, and man, we were having such a great time, we were laughing, and then these thoughts go through your mind, and you don't want to be mean or rude, and you don't want to let this person go, because you still kind of in the fantasy stage of what it could possibly be and things of that nature. But I need to tell you something. I want you to, when you find yourself in a situation like that so early on, that is one of the biggest red flags. And that is something that you really truly need to be weary of, and you need to really try to, for me, I would just get out of the situation as soon as I possibly could. I wouldn't even sit there and try to reason with this type of person, because there is no reasoning with this type of person. This person needs to continue therapy or go to therapy or do the healing work that they need to do on themselves. But this person needs, they need help. They don't need a relationship. And you're not going to be able to help them. The only thing that you're going to do is find yourself enabling them while also being a victim of theirs in the process, right? Because like they say, hurt people. So to keep yourself from being hurt, you kind of want to protect yourself in the beginning. Don't even think about, some people say, well, they're sitting there hurting. What was I supposed to do? You don't have the savior complex, because who can you really, can you really save them? Do you really, truly, honestly believe and think that they picked you to just let all this out? Do you really honestly think that they didn't do this with the last person that they went out on a date with? Do you really honestly think that? And then you have to check yourself, because that could be your own ego. Oh wow, they doing this for me. And then you have to listen to yourself and figure out, why do I need this validation? And why do I feel like this? Why am I, feeling like, oh wow, I'm just the best person in the world, that they decided that they wanted to just tell me all their information and all these different types of things. They picked me to save them. You have to ask yourself these types of questions. And the thing about it, at the end of the day, you really want to do what's best for you and protect you at all costs. So if that means you have to block this person, if that means you have to cut it off at the knees right then and there at the table and say, you know what, I'm sorry that you're going through what you're going through, but you seem really, really, really emotionally unstable. I'm not I can't help you. I know a good therapist, or I know some people that could possibly guide you in the right direction. Or maybe you need to go to self-help, whatever the case may be, and go ahead and end it right then and there. Or maybe you're more of a subtle kind that you'll say, okay, you'll wait till it's over, then get to your car and block them. Whatever you choose to do, just get rid of the person. Don't even sit there and try to reason with these types of people. Don't even sit there and try to understand it. Don't even sit there and try to put the pieces together or figure something out. I'm telling you, because once you do that, you fall into the trap. That's part of the trap. Because if I can get you to think about it and try to figure it out, that means I can have some type of attachment to you. That means I can get you right on in where I want you to be at. All I got to do is just push a little harder and tweak the way I do the things to get you. And people say, well, why do people do what they do? Why do liars lie? We don't really know. Hurt people hurt people. And some people feel like because they were hurt, they want to hurt other people. And they make it their goal to go out and hurt other people intentionally because someone hurt them. And the person that truly hurt them wouldn't even give them the time of day to stand before them and even attempt to try to hurt them. That's why. So I hope that I was able to teach you all something. I hope that you all learned something from this video. And, even if it was just a little small gem or nugget, again, like the video if you like it, subscribe if you want to, comment in the comment section what you think about the video. And if you kind of have some ideas of what took place, or if you have your own, stories or anything like that. And, sharing is caring, so you can share it if you want to. If not, I'm okay too. As long as you got what you need. This is Dr. Dwight. I'm out here, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace and Happy New Year.